Budget 2021 is going to be a very challenging budget. The government is actually fragile. The economy is actually slowing down, and it has already slowed down. And the companies are struggling, especially the SMEs. The SMEs need cash. So they need cash injection, they need cash grants, they need a tax reduction. When it comes to tax, I would propose that the tax rate from 17% now for the small companies rate should be reduced to maybe 15 or 14%. And they need cash. They need cash grants for the digitalization of their business, to the transformation of the business to the new era, and they can do it very quickly. These are nimble businesses, but they need the help at the moment, and also to retain the employees. So they need cash subsidies. So wherever possible, there must be tax deductions given in order to digitalize the business, to help them retain the people. And so it can be in the form of cash grants, or it can be also in the form of actually tax reductions. Now, when it comes to individuals, individuals also need cash in hand. The B40, already there is a direct transfer of cash, and that should continue. When the M40 were paying the tax, then you must give them a one-off rebate, and it should be given this year, which means if they have already filed their returns for 2019, so that the taxes are, and the 2020 taxes, they need to get the cash back. So in case, so you have to find a way of actually giving them back the cash, in terms of reducing their tax liability, give them back some of that cash. That's one. Number two, you should also be able to give them tax deductions for retraining themselves. If they want to re-educate themselves, if they want to actually move up, especially the senior people who are above 65, 70, if they want to actually learn about internet, they've got to be part of this internet world. So you have to give them, you've got to give them a break. So you may want to give them a tax deduction, and if they're paying taxes. Otherwise, we need to find a way of giving them a cash grant to help them on that. The other thing that you need to consider is the GST. Why not? I think it's a good time actually to reintroduce, because SST has its own problems. It is a cascading tax, whereas GST will be much more efficient. But the rate of tax should be maybe 3% or 4%, and it's a good means to actually increase some tax revenues to the government. Government needs revenue. Government cannot simply be giving away money to the people without actually having sources of funds. Where will it get the money? You can't keep on borrowing. You cannot keep on forever borrowing. You need to raise money. And the people who actually are generating the income and who have the wealth, we need to think about taxing them. So this is an ideal time where you need to actually start seriously thinking about taxing the extreme wealthy, but perhaps wealth tax or an inheritance tax. Those are proposals that you should seriously consider. I would urge the government to think about it. But property sector is really down. So the RPGT rates should be reduced quite dramatically from the top 30% to maybe 20%. And each bracket is to be lowered down. So that there's property activity actually being reignited in the economy. And finally, also one more thing that you need to think about is actually cash, because lots of people, now there are savings. People haven't spent the money, there is savings. So you've got to now mobilize the savings and put it into productive development expenditure. So the government could go out, borrow from the people who are actually saving, give them a slightly higher interest rate. Now interest rates are 1.75 and even expected to drop. Give them a higher interest rate, mobilize the funds and re-employ them in maybe good infrastructure projects which will be productive to the country. But there must be no leakage. There must be no leakage. That's very important. Otherwise, it's wasted money. That's something. And finally, I would say to both income tax and the customs, please be more lenient when it comes to actually installment payments. People want to pay their taxes, allow them a longer period to pay, allow them the leeway to actually extend. Don't press them. If you kill the golden goose that lays the eggs, you are actually killing the source of your funds, your future funds, to run the government. So I would urge the both of them to exercise greater leniency than they are doing now, because at the moment they seem to be on a cash collection drive. So in light of all this, these are the sort of measures we need to take, and I hope the finance minister will think about this very carefully. And finally, he has to get money into the economy and bring confidence to the people to spend that money into the economy. It's no point going into savings. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope the budget will be a good one where there'll be a lot more money into the market. Thank you.